What is going on, everybody? Today we are doing a buy low, sell high fantasy football video. So if you have any questions on who to buy or who to sell, you came to the right place. As always, if you have any questions, please leave it down in the comment section. We answer every single one of those questions, no matter what. And if you want further help, please consider joining our Discord. We are very active there. The link is in our description. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So the goal here is to take advantage of fantasy owners who are freaking out about the players who had rough starts. Number one is a quarterback. His name is Trevor Lawrence. And I think it's way too early to hit that panic button on this young quarterback. He has a stacked team, an unhealthy wide receiver room, which will get better over time. And this guy currently has the fifth most pass attempts in the NFL. Now, that's something you cannot overlook. And we also got to note that 4 of his touchdown passes did not count due to his wide receivers not getting 2 feet in. These guys should have a turnaround, make it back. Trevor Lawrence, don't freak out on him. Go buy low if you need a quarterback. Up next, we have running back Josh Jacobs. Now, here's a guy that is looking better and better every week. And just like Joe Burrow, he did not hit the preseason. So this is kind of like his warm-up time. And once he catches fire, you're going to want him on your fantasy team. Now, even if he doesn't start looking like the 2022 Josh Jacobs, he is averaging 20 touches a game. And what does that equal to? That equals to opportunity. And that is what I like on my fantasy team. Sticking to the same team, I want to talk about wide receiver Jakobi Meyers. Now, this guy has 22 targets, only playing 2 games. So his stats don't look that great because he did miss week 2. But this guy is getting consistent targets, and this could be because defenses are so focused on Adams and Jacobs. And when you think about it, this team will probably be playing from behind the majority of the season, which only means more passing attempts. And what does that mean? More opportunity to score points. Get this guy on your team. This is a perfect guy to tell your trade partner, like, hey, throw Jakobi Meyers in, and we have a deal. Up next, tight end Darren Waller. I'm not hitting the panic button yet. This guy, I mean, where do I even start, right? He starts off the season with injury, and then he goes against 2 of the top defenses in the NFL, one of them being the Cowboys, the other one being the 49ers. Come on, cut this guy a break. And in this fantasy football league where tight ends are very scarce, this could be a bargain for you. Up next, which this is probably not going to age well because the game was literally last night. Let's talk about running back Jameer Gibbs. I'm currently watching the game right now, and it's not looking great. It's getting frustrating, but every fantasy owner has freaked out about this guy, and they're still going to freak out after this game. Now, I do believe that the Lions are bringing him in along very slowly, and by the second half of the season, he should see more of the starting role. Even with that, as of right now, he's still a top 25 running back for fantasy for the past 2 weeks. So get this guy. I'm not freaking out on him. He should see a bigger role the second half of the season. Now let's switch over to the sell high candidates. And another guy I'm going to talk about, we usually talk about him a lot on our live podcast. Let's talk about Raheem Mostert, who I like to call Raheem the Dream. Now, out of his career, he's only had 1 healthy season. And right now, he is the highest, the peak value of where he would be for fantasy football. So go out there, go trade him because A-Chain or Achan, I don't know how you say his name, so please forgive me, will be getting the majority of the role when the second half of the season comes. And Jeff Wilson Jr., the third running back that no one has talked about, is getting healthier. And once he does become healthy, how much carries does he take away from those 2 running backs? Trade Mostert while you can because his value is just going to go lower and lower and lower as weeks go on. Up next, we have another running back in the name of Brian Robinson. Now, this is a guy that surprised everyone to start off the season. Very hot start. So his fantasy value is skyrocket, right? So he is currently ranked as the 6th running back for fantasy football. So you got to go out there and you got to trade him because in my not so pro opinion, see what I did there? I think he's going to become touchdown reliant to be relevant in any fantasy football roster. Up next, we have another running back. Yes, another running back, Zach Moss. Now, let me ask you all this. Do we really expect Zach Moss to have 20 plus touches a game moving forward? I'll answer that for you. And that is a hard no. Okay. These past 2 games, Anthony Richardson basically missed both of them. Okay. He missed all of last week and he missed the majority of week 2 due to injury, which allowed Zach Moss to carry a very heavy rush load. Now, here's the key factor here. Jonathan Taylor if he comes back, which I do believe he will come back. But if he comes back for the Colts, this is just going to completely devalue Zach Moss as a whole. So go out there, trade him while you can. You could trade him to teams that are in desperate need of running backs. Up next is a guy who's dear to my heart. It is Devo Samuel. Yes, I love the guy, but he has never had a season without injury. In fact, this past game in week 3, he did finish the game dealing with an injury, and now he's questionable this upcoming week. And now he did have a very good week last week in week 3. We got to remember that Brandon Ayuk was not in, he was out. And also, let's be real, there are a lot of mouths to feed in San Francisco. Last person to sell high on, this is the wide receiver Tank Dell. Now, this is probably a guy who you got off the waiver wires and now is ranked 8th for wide receivers for fantasy football. Now, if you have an immediate need elsewhere, you could get a really good player in return for this guy. Now, I know what y'all are thinking. Why would I sell Tank Dell? Well, ask yourself this. This is the real question here. Are you willing to bet that he continues to produce like he did these past 2 weeks, rest of the season? I'll leave that to you. Now, with that being said, that's all I have. Those are my 10 buy low, sell high candidates for fantasy football. And if you guys want to catch us live, we are going live tomorrow, Saturday at 4:30 Central Time, talking some fantasy football. So ask us whatever question you like. Like I said before, we do answer every single comment and every single question. So thank you all so much. If you like this video, if you found this useful, please hit that like button, that little thumbs up. It helps us out a lot. And until next time, keep on grinding.